All right, class. So I'm giving you 3 videos today. You don't have to watch them all, but I noticed the word problems might be a little tricky. So I thought I'd walk you through a sample word problem. And this is actually probably the hardest kind of word problem you'll get, because this one, you'll need to write it out, the inequality, and then answer the question. But the question's a little bit tricky. So let's read through it. There's words, words, words. Renee pushes the elevator button, but the elevator does not move. The mass limit for the elevator is 450. So the limit is 450 kilograms. So let's just write that down. And that's in a sentence by itself. That means it's probably going to be by itself. See? That's in a part of the sentence by itself. We have a comma, and then we're starting the second half of the sentence. So we're going to have an inequality here. If that's the limit, do we want anything to be greater than 450? No. We want everything to be less than or equal to 450. Okay? Now, the mass total that she has is 620. You can see that that is not smaller than 450. It's greater than 450. But she has packages that we're going to subtract. So minus each package. And they want us to use P. I don't know if you can see that. They want us to use P for the variable. So we have 37.4. P. So this is going to be tricky in a lot of ways. You see we have a negative coefficient, so we're going to have to consider that. We have these big numbers that we can't do. Well, that says, well, we can, but it would be tricky to do this without a calculator. So let's pull up the calculator. All right, first thing we need to do is to solve for P. Let's get rid of this 620. How are we going to get rid of that 620? By subtracting. Okay. 620 minus 620 is 0. But notice that negative is still with 37. And then over here, we're going to do 450 minus 620. If you use your calculator, you'll see that that answer is going to be negative 170. Now, there's a lot of ways to proceed from here, but I'm going to do it by dividing the negative coefficient, just to remind you of that rule. Okay, so our next step is to get P by itself. So we're going to divide it. We're going to divide both sides. Okay. So negative 37.4. Negative 37.4. Okay, negative divided by a negative is going to give us a positive. I don't want to do this without a calculator, so you can type in your calculator, and actually we might as well type in the calculator, 170 divided by 37.4. I think that'll give us 4, somewhere between 4 and 5, like 4.5. Notice I did not put in the negatives because I know they cancel each other out. So I don't even have to type them in. Okay, so it's approximately 4.5. So again, it would have been bad to try to do this by hand. So 4.54. So we don't need to calculate anymore. And we have 4.54-ish, repeating, is greater than or equal to p. Or is it? What happens when we divide by negative? Oops, I got rid of that negative there. What happens when we divide by negative, guys? What do we have to do with our inequality? We have to flip it. So I wonder if there's a way to grab it and flip it around. Well, I'll just erase it instead. And what we're going to end up with is a greater than or equal to p. Okay, so the amount of packages has got to be greater than 4.5. Now you see why I didn't worry about the decimals, because we're doing a real life situation. You can't pull off 0.54 of a package. You're going to pull off one package at a time. So it's going to be a whole number. So how many packages do we need to take off? Well, some number that's greater than 4.5. What's a number that's greater than 4.5? That would be 5, right? And that'll be your answer. 5 packages. Up here, you have to put your inequality that you initially started with. Again, your inequality could look in a few different ways, but the key is it has to be true. So 450 is going to be greater than or equal to the amount that you put in the elevator. So we're going to subtract 37.4. And they want us to use the variable p. If you put an x, it won't like that. I don't know why. Okay, that's it for